camera, I think. Let me try to bend this down a little bit. Maybe that'll help a little bit. There's Bobby just logging right on in there.
What's up, man? Are we on
So,
yet?
this is pretty good. I got to get the right angle with the camera. I guess this is good. It's a little off center, keep people on their toes just a little bit, which is good. Just for those of you guys that are here really early, just if anybody does play hockey, the Edmonton-Montreal game was postponed. So just to let you guys know that. Before we do game by game, can I maybe give like just kind of my 60,000 foot view of the slate first?
Sure.
Okay. So like the way I'm looking at it is there's several bits of value that you have to figure out how much you want of and how much you want less of. So I got two on DraftKings, two totally equal priced cheaper centers, right, between Moses Brown and Zubac. They're literally the exact same price. Then you have like the Charlotte values, like you have Devontae Graham, and then what you have in that game is I'm just kind of looking at it this way, is you have kind of one natural pivot off of it in Malik Monk, and then you could do the other thing you could do is play like kind of like the regular guys, like Rozier and Hayward, and then you have that Milwaukee game where again you got all three, you got Portis, Middleton, and Drew Holiday, and it's a question of how much of that you want to play, and then. I'm not sure. I was reading some. I'm not entirely convinced that Houston thing is settled yet. I know that they say that Oladipo's out and Wall, whatever. I don't imagine. Has Wall played back to back in like a while?
I don't believe so. There's that. Then there's also the whole Indianapolis situation you didn't mention.
No, what's that?
Brogdon is questionable, as is who else was questionable? Oh, Turner.
I didn't even know either of those things. Like legit questionables?
Legit.
Wow. What was the actual news? I got to go read up on that then.
I mean, in-day question downgrades like this are a little nerve-wracking, but you would think, and if he could, that Brogdon would try to play at his old place. But it's hard to. It's tough.
And that's 9:00 too.
Yeah.
Brogdon is a late one. What does it say even? It says his availability for the second, and it doesn't say any reason or anything, right?
Right.
Oh, so lower back soreness.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I've seen this movie before, by the way, with Brogdon and lower back soreness. And the ones, I don't know what was the last time, but one time he was questionable with lower back soreness. He played, and let's just say he should have sat.
So what do we do with that news? Obviously, that'll change things. TJ McConnell becomes a great play on FanDuel, especially. A great play on both sides, probably. Definitely like LeVert on both sides as well, if that was to happen. And either way, I'm just committing to a lot of Sabonis tonight.
Yeah, he's a really good play.
Yeah, it's hard to deny that one for me. It's interesting with the way shoot it. Like some positions are very different between both sites today, and it really does force you into like kind of a weirder like I realized that trying to get too much Graham on FanDuel actually made my lineups like not feel good. There's a lot of weird things out there. But anyway, let's talk about the overall stuff. We could, if you want to, we should just talk about the first game because I think it's the only thing, that we have until 8 Eastern.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. And then guys, fire in any questions, any thoughts when you get in there. Please don't forget to smash the like button. We really appreciate it. All that stuff. Okay. So the first game, are you finding anything on the Sacramento side that you're interested in?
Yeah.
What?
I like a little Fox and I like a little Halliburton.
Fair enough. I feel the same way, but neither are close to priorities for me. And with all the news to come, certainly not going to prioritize them.
However, what I'm trying to structure is, I start with like this kind of like lineup of like 8 chalk guys, right? And then I'm trying to figure out ways to pivot. And one of the things I'm kind of looking to do is is maybe play like a Sexton Halliburton or a Sexton Fox, just to kind of get off. You know what I mean? Just to start differentiating a little bit. So that's why I think that's my interest in this game is not in any one-offs, but really in just a Sexton with Halliburton and or a Sexton with Fox on DraftKings. And then on FanDuel, I actually like Fox at point guard.
Yeah, I think he's fine. It really does depend, and I'd rather take the later shot. So, Trey could end up being out. I just think delaying is the best move.
Okay.
But I do have some Sexton lineups, not in my big ones. I do have some Jared Allen lineups, not in my big ones. I do have some Darius Garland on FanDuel, not in my big ones. But that's I want to get some exposure to those guys as well. I think that the one we might feel the dumbest for not playing, and maybe I will put him into a big one because it does feel dumb not to play Jared Allen here, on FanDuel especially, because at 6,700 you have a guy who can get you fit, especially with Miles. On the FanDuel middle tier, and he's the only one who I feel like really he's the best chance. And rebounding and steal lineups and possible in the NBA. There's just everything just looks like it's a Jared Allen type of environment. Are you with me at all on that one, or did you have any of that?
No, because I'm really like for now I'm just really kind of the way I'm looking at center on FanDuel, for example, is as I am looking at either paying down for one of the two cheap guys,
right,
or paying up for Towns. And if I'm not going to go to any of that route, I'm probably going to do something different than Allen. I'm probably going to do something like Valanciunas, I think.
Yeah, nothing wrong with nothing. I think Jared Allen's a much stronger play on FanDuel than Valanciunas is, just off the top.
Yeah, no, I think he's going to rate that way. I just feel as though.
No, I'm not talking about how he rates. I'm just saying that for tournaments, he's a better play. Like
you think so? Oh, okay. I thought that Valanciunas would be much lower owned than Allen would be.
Let me just see where we are at real quick with the ownership. So the Valanciunas argument is, the thing is he needs to have one of those 20-20 type of games. He won't play as many minutes as Jared Allen, that's for sure. He will be really low owned, and he's in a good matchup, so I like that part of it. I wish he had more blocks and steals, and that's not that he doesn't, but the block and steal upside for Jared Allen is so much greater, and you give him an extra probably 6-7 minutes. But in terms of the ownership part of it, I kind of agree with you. And then you could also just look at Jared Allen's game log and say, hey, he hasn't been doing this lately. So I kind of actually think that's a pretty smart way to go. I'm basically I'm playing two really big buy-in ones on FanDuel, and I'm just going to pay down at center. I'm going to play Zubac, and I'm going to play Moses Brown.
Okay. And those rates, for me, those are the best plays.
Agreed.
And I got no problem with either. But which you want to game by game, or do you want to say which of those guys do you think carries? I want to say more risk, or how would you rate those two?
Which two?
Moses Brown and Zubac.
So I think that Zubac is the better play for sure, but I think that Moses Brown is a excellent pivot. I don't know how else to say it, but I don't think that. You're going to get lower ownership on Moses Brown, but it's not going to be low ownership. Zubac certainly feels more like the play. The one thing you could look at with the Clippers, it's a little bit hard, is that one they've played some good games lately. They've also struggled and gotten blown out a few times. So maybe they would shake things up a little bit. I love Marcus Morris on FanDuel, so maybe you could use that as a differentiator because you can play Morris and Brown more comfortably than you could play Morris and Zubac.
I would like to make the case for Moses Brown over Zubac quickly.
Yeah.
So again, I think they're both good plays, but I think that if not that either game really rates to blow out, but I think that Moses Brown's actually blowout minutes are safer than Zubac's. Just because I think they really want to get him minutes while they have the chance. So I think that actually in a weird way, his minutes, I don't say are safer, but I think that extra assuredness that if the game does get out of hand one way or the other, I think they'll still play him as they did in the last time that he started. The game was totally over and they ran him out. He saved everybody's lineups. He was like doing nothing. and they ran him out during all the blowout run in the fourth quarter and he got there. And where I think Zubac is a little more veteran-y, and you know what I mean? I think that he's got less of a chance to.
It's a much better matchup for Moses Brown too than it is for Zubac. People, I always try and tell. I always make this point, so forgive me. But Zubac is always great to try and attack Karl Anthony Towns. Even if it defensively might put you in, foul trouble, and that is a real possibility for Moses Brown. So I would say that negates a little bit of the blowout. But also, I don't know what blowout risk I'd worry about in LA. I think Atlanta. I like Atlanta in this game overall. Like to cover for sure. Atlanta's won 8 in a row. It feels weird the Clippers are an 8-point favorite.
That guys could win the Coach of the Year.
Which one? Atlanta? No. There's too many good Coach of the Year.
David McMillan, sure.
No, he's been great, but you can't take it away from. I think Tibbs and Steve Nash and Quinn Snyder are going to be.
Steve Nash can F off. So.
What's he supposed to do, man? All they do is keep winning. They keep losing stars. We'll see what happens. They have no Kyrie this week too. It's your job as a coach is all you can do, right? Like I know he's been given a gold mine, but you can't punish him. All right, so that's the first game. That's really where the decisions are going to be made. Now, assuming let's talk about some favorite plays because assuming he's going to play.
Well, hang on. Let's talk about the Charlotte. Can we talk about the Charlotte game?
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the FanDuel screen. So yeah, go ahead. Talk about the Charlotte game. We didn't talk about OKC Minnesota though.
No, I know that, but I didn't know where you were hopping to.
I was going to the next game from Sacramento, Cleveland, which is OKC Minnesota 5, and the other one is 5:30.
That's fine. So this is a game again where you have somebody you have a little bit of chalk here with Shea, and he's not exactly a lock either. You know what I mean? So I like him, but if he gets to be too highly owned, I think that he could be faded. And on the other side, we talked about Cat a couple of times, and I just hope he doesn't go low owned as a result of the Moses Brown / Zubac value, because it is a good spot for him. And what do you think of and the other thing I was going to ask you about this is I wasn't doing much else on OKC, although maybe we should with Dort out, right? Is do you like Anthony Edwards on Minnesota?
I love Anthony. I really like Anthony Edwards. And I would have liked him even if Dort was in. I just think that the shots, we've talked about it so much. So I actually really have a ton of interest in this game. And guys, I'll answer some of the questions things that popped up. What's up to everybody in the chat? Thanks for joining us. I'll answer them after we talk about this game real quick. But so this to me is like, first, I think Shea ends up being lower than 20% on DraftKings. Let's just start with that. And I love him here. Partly, I love the game stack. You could play him with Moses Brown. I don't even think it's bad to play him with Maladon in this matchup, or you could play him with a guy who I like a lot, which is Roby. Although he makes a little more sense on FanDuel at 4,700 than he does on DraftKings at 56. So I'm kind of interested in taking some shots on this part of the game. But my favorite long shot play, I'm going to say this every show, so I'm just going to warn everybody. You can tell what's coming. It's going to be Poku all the time. Every time we talk about plays, as long as he's under 5K. I'm going to say Pokuevsky is going to make a terrific tournament play. He is going to play 26 plus minutes with upside of 35, maybe even more. He can create, he can rebound, and if he gets hot from the outside at all, or even if he's not hot, I mean, he put up some games where he wasn't even that hot, but if he gets hot, he could score 40 plus fantasy points, and no one is going to play him tonight. So I really, really like him. In fact, I've got him currently in one of my big buy-ins. He's like 30% of my lineups right now. I'm not sure I'm going to leave it like that high, but he is a guy I really, really, really love his upside. You could argue him versus Maladon, which is kind of interesting because Maladon's going to have some ownership and obviously plays a much more desirable guard position when there's a lot of good guards out there today. And just look at the ceilings between these two guys. You don't need the floor. You know what I mean? Past the median average, forget all of it. You have a great matchup, a guy they definitely want to get minutes in a situation where he could play potentially 3-4, probably won't play the 5 against Cat, but he'll play the 3 and the 4. So you could get a bunch of minutes out of him. I really like Poku. The weirdest thing about him, I also want to point out that other sites I noticed were missing is his projected points per minute are so a little bit like whacked up because he's had these just complete horrible games. And that's going to happen again. He's the youngest player in the NBA. but there's going to be plenty of 40s mixed in, and there doesn't seem like a better matchup than this one. So that's a long way of explaining why I like a guy who's supposed to be less than 1% owned today on DraftKings. And I like him on FanDuel too, by the way, of course. And on the other side, it's because part of my love for this is I want to play Cat. I'm finding it a little bit harder to do on FanDuel than I thought because I like the paying down center builds, and I want to play Anthony Edwards. Those are both awesome tournament plays to me, and they're not going to be that highly owned. I also think guys like Jaden McDaniels and Juancho might be overlooked. Probably the wrong slate, just throwing it out there. And then even Rubio, I think that Rubio's a risk. I think he might even, he's made it this far in the day so far, but don't be surprised if you hear Ricky Rubio's traded anytime soon or bought out or something, which would of course.
Really?
There's a lot of rumors. A lot of people really want him. Like the Clippers want him, I know. So they're trying to work something out. But there's going to be a lot of that, you guys, in the next few days. So just keep this all in mind because then, of course, Jalen Noel becomes an awesome play. But right now, I think it's just Edwards and Towns who I want to play. And by the way, I think you can even play them together and get like a 3-man stack. You could play Brown, Poku, and Shea, or you could play Maladon if you don't feel comfortable with the other way, or Roby. There's a lot of options over there. And the one other guy, the last guy I'm going to mention for potential value, only because it's an unusual situation, they just traded for him, is there's an outside chance you might see Svi actually get more minutes tonight. Obviously shooting dependent. I don't love him. I'm just throwing him out there as a wild card in addition to other value because he's projected to play in the 20s by most people, like low 20s, maybe 18. But I think that he has upside of like mid 20s to high 20s. And
how many did he end up playing last night? Yesterday?
20.
Okay. I actually took a little shot with him yesterday with that. Hopefully they would roll him out a little bit more.
He's 1 out of 150. He's not a guy.
Yeah.
Poku is not. I think Poku has the upside to be another guy.
Okay.
And I think Poku is more important to their franchise than Roby, to give you an idea. Like Roby was sort of an accidentally we found this guy. Now it could always change game to game. You could get but the Roby minutes might go just to Poku, and they might play them together. You know what I mean? There's a lot of ways it could work out, but definitely really interested in the OKC side of things tonight. All right, I'm gonna answer a couple of these questions, and maybe I'll pop them over to you too because I like to do my lineups from the last half hour. We can keep going through the games. Anyone else feeling like Anthony Edwards goes out? Yes, love Anthony Edwards tonight with you. Obviously, I really like Anthony Edwards. Tatum or Sabonis, DK GPP, and Sexton or Wall for a DK GPP. I'm very questioning of. I'm with Sheets on the Wall thing, which we were going to get into in a minute probably. So what was the first one? The first one was Tatum or Sabonis. Okay, let's talk about that for a second. So because I love both of those plays. I've done this a bunch of times today, and for some reason, I can't stop getting onto Sabonis over Tatum at lower ownership. I just can't avoid it. We also have the question marks with the other guys playing in Indy, which obviously if Turner's out would be a boost. If both of them are out, it's a huge boost. And you might see he'll play like the point forward situation. I think he and LeVert become awesome plays if that happens. So I'm willing to take that chance because I don't think Sabonis is that much worse of a play. In fact, I think they're pretty close anyway, even if everybody's healthy. The only thing that's different is this other upside and the fact that he goes into my game stacks more. Sheets, who do you like better, Sabonis or Tatum?
I really don't think it's particularly close. I think that Sabonis against, God forbid, like extended Bobby Portis defense is going to freaking smash.
Mm-hmm. You think Sabonis is going to kill him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
I think Sabonis is a much. I mean, and this is like kind of like not say tout momentum, but my brain momentum. Like each minute that goes on during the day, my opinion on that strengthens more and more. Like at the beginning of the day, I'm like, but if you ask me Sabonis Tatum, I would literally call it a coin flip. But just the more I think about it, like the more I'm really just convinced that Sabonis just forced to smash.
I kind of feel the same way. But I am going to have some Tatum too. In fact, I've actually got them in a number of lineups together on DraftKings.
You could certainly play them together on at power forward to get off of Portis chalk if you want to do that.
Yeah, I'm playing Portis with Morris mostly at power forward, or I'm doing exactly what you just said. Like literally, like those are my options, and that's what I feel fine about that. I'm good with it. You know, so okay, let's talk about the other games and see if there's any more things in there. Notice the trend of 3 and D guys lighting up the Raptors. What would you guys classify the Rock? Oh, I don't think that's a kind of a play that I would care to talk about. Looking for a 3 and D guy specifically is a very strange thing to do in DFS. So I would never ever try to search that out. You could maybe get some guys hit 3.
Just keep not playing Danny Green, watching him smash in our face. That's a good way to.
I didn't say. What are you talking about? I played Danny Green yesterday.
No, just in general. I mean, like he's the 3 and D guy. I mean, like.
Or no, that was my day before. Yeah, but I mean, you never like are trying. You're not specifically going out of your way to target 3 and D guys ever.
No. Actually, probably want to avoid them.
Monk a good pivot. I don't think Monk's a pivot. Monk is going to be fairly well owned, right, on both sides. I
think that he's going to be the chalky low owned guy, so to speak.
Yes,
like you said, he's going to be everybody's favorite pivot. Which means, like you said, I mean, he'll be. I don't know. What's he going to be? 15%?
Yeah, probably. Maybe a little bit higher. And I actually think he'd be higher owned in the higher buy-ins because people tend to want to take the chance on his upside is immense. That's the way I would see it.
And he's as direct a pivot, I think, off of Graham you can get because
he's also a pivot off of Brown. He's a pivot off of what's his name too.
No, but I mean direct because if he's playing well, Graham might not get those minutes.
Oh yeah. Well, no, Graham is not. Graham is the blowout guy. He'll be on every blowout thing. He's not. I don't even know. I don't know that Devontae Graham is starting tonight.
I don't mean blowout run. I mean like closing run if it's close.
Oh, you mean Monk versus? I don't. Yeah, actually, that makes a lot of sense. But I think that. Yeah, my guess would be PJ Washington and all those guys, but it changes for them. Sometimes Bridges even closes. So.
So let's talk more about that game a little bit. What do you think of the non cutesy plays? What do you think of Rozier and Hayward?
They're fine.
Just fine.
Rozier is just incredibly shooting reliant. It's a poor man's version of, and he's cheaper, so it's fair. But he's a poor man's version of Anthony Edwards-ish play, and I'm not playing. I think he's a better play on FanDuel. I think he has been a good spot. I would much rather play Gordon Hayward personally. I'm not as high on Rozier on DraftKings as other people might be. I do like Devontae Graham. I mean, look, I'm going to be with the field or ahead of it on Devontae Graham's ownership. I'll be ahead of the field on Malik Monk. I'll be ahead of the field on most of this game, in fact. Just not much on the San Antonio side. The only guy I'll have really any of is Keldon Johnson, maybe one Derek White lineup. I don't think DeMar DeRozan is the worst play on FanDuel. It's sort of like a weird spend up, and no one's going to play. No one's going to play him either place. But I just think that there's he has the upside. Now everybody's back, so yeah, it doesn't justify it, but he is a pivot off of some of the Tatum stuff too.
I think that's a really I think it's a really, really sharp play actually, DeRozan over there.
I think I think it makes some sense, and also it's a good matchup for him too. By the way, I don't understand why San Antonio is favored by 5 points in that game. That confuses me a little bit. It almost makes me feel like somebody else is hitting for Charlotte, but I'm not really going to speculate on that.
You think?
No, I don't really think that. I just was surprised. I thought San Antonio would be like a 1 or 2 point favorite. I didn't think it was going to.
Remember, like Devontae Graham has had his he's had his efficiency issues. I'm trying to figure a reason to fade him, but it's going to be hard.
It's plenty of reasons to fade him. There's, you don't need a guy who's. Look, we don't even know if he's starting. By the way, if he's not starting, you want to get as much more of him. Like if that's the case,
right?
He could literally play he could play 40 minutes tonight, or he could play like 20. Both are definitely in the range of outcomes. And so for him to be super chalky is a little bit okay. It makes sense. It's the same thing. He's getting his position back. All of it makes sense. Just he's going to be popular. I think the upside's too much for me to pass on personally.
If you play Brogdon, you're
not playing. Oh, you mean you can't play Brogdon because of the questionable. I don't think.
What I'm saying is, if you leave Brogdon in at like 8 o'clock, you know what I mean. I'm trying to think. You want to wait on Brogdon. There's plenty of guys to play. Okay, fair enough. Because I do want to play Brogdon if he plays. I think.
Yeah, me too. But I mean, like he's not a better play than Drew Holiday is. On FanDuel, for example.
Not a better play than Drew.
Probably not a better play than most of these other guys. Like even Colin Sexton.
Yeah.
That's
that's true.
That's just my spot, how I see it. But
Well, but that's actually really relevant because that game actually starts earlier. Who do you like more at 7,300? Different positions, but same position. Morant, Edwards, or Sexton? Or John Wall if he plays?
I like Edwards, but I think John Morant is an awesome tournament play, even though he's really struggled lately. That's my rank, the way I'd rank it. Do you know who's probably going to have a good game tonight and no one's going to play? Are they going to play him? Am I missing something? Because he's not popping up on anything for me, but I like this spot for Daniel Tice.
Tice.
He might get double-digit ownership. He's just cheap, and it's a good matchup for an active guy like him. You have a team that plays a little faster, turns the ball over. Although lately I would say that Memphis has played a little bit slower than usual, but I think he's kind of interesting.
What is Malik Monk's price?
Did we talk about Bismack Biambo, by the way? Oh, we haven't got
I was going to ask you about that because with those two $5,100 centers, I mean, that could be a ridiculously insane pivot. Although he's really got a motor to get up to some of those scores. But what is he? He's really cheap.
So he's 3,400.
Yeah,
not on FanDuel, on DraftKings. I would play him on DraftKings, not on FanDuel. In fact, I don't think I would even consider him on FanDuel. Allen, Halliburton. I do like DiVincenzo, by the way, as a pivot off of the other guys. If you want,
that could be a really just ballsy freaking play on DraftKings. That feels like such a big price.
But he's I still think he gets owned. But I don't think he's going to be owned like the other guys are going to be owned.
Right.
And also, he suits playing him and like Portis together would suit. It's not necessarily a blowout exactly, but it's a controlling the game kind of a thing with second unit, and that maybe they just stay in there for a little bit longer.
Hey, let's go back to let's just make sure that you didn't change your mind on something because you were concerned when we were talking about Portis earlier that PJ Tucker might get some run and Portis might be not be the greatest play. Where do you stand on that? Have you done a little more deeper dive into that?
I think it's more suspect than the industry is treating it. I think the upside is a little too great to ignore.
Okay.
That's how I feel. I mean, it's a weird situation. I'm much more on it than I was before.
Fair enough. What's the next game you have listed?
And I'm confused about what they're going to do because if they're going to slowly bring PJ Tucker along, or maybe he makes more sense with Giannis, that actually does make more sense. They brought him along because he's one of the great three-point corner shooters of all time, not this year, but in general. And Giannis has more assists to the corner threes than anybody in history of basketball, basically. Not really, but close. So that's why they got him. But it doesn't make – I guess I've sort of sided with the Portis will get more minutes, which is good enough for me with Portis being Portis. I was just worried about the minutes being lost a little bit.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead, Chiefs. What were you thinking?
No, I just wanted to get motoring because I know we're going to have to do our lineup soon.
Yeah. Jeremiah Vincent brings up that 4,600 for FanDuel for McConnell is a reasonable price anyway. I totally agree. Worth the risk. Don't need to do anything creative, in my opinion. He's in play even with them there, especially if Turner's out, because then they play smaller and play Sabonis at the 5. So if either one of them is out, he's an excellent play, in my opinion. He's a decent enough play otherwise. But there are other good values on FanDuel. All right, I'm just trying to get my builds narrowed down here a little bit. I don't think I have a whole lot to do until the next one so we have officially Garland is in. Good to know.
Toronto, Houston. I'm inclined to play some Fred VanVleet. I'm inclined to maybe take a shot on Christian Wood also. Just guys I'm kind of fiddling with.
Mm-hmm. I agree with both of those, and I will have a couple of lineups with those together. I'm still skeptical about the Christian Wood playing significant minutes on a back-to-back when the guy's injury prone and he's their only real future piece. So I would definitely not play too much Christian Wood if I was anybody out there. Does not make sense to run him on a back-to-back off an injury. Guy's never played more than 26 games in a year. Let's give the kid a break.
Right.
That's my feeling. But if they want to try to actually win a game or go out there. I mean, one other thing about VanVleet is he does play some blowout minutes, but I think there's an excellent chance this game they just thrash him.
Now, I don't know if you knew this already, but I see Isaiah Roby and Moses Brown starting.
I didn't see that yet, but that's good to know.
Did you play both of them together?
Yep. Not a ton, but I have a little bit of it. Makes sense that they would play it that way against Minnesota. One other guy going to be forgotten about tonight, 0% ownership in the last games. You can always pivot if there's some other better value. And he's a great pivot off of Monk. And I'm just going to guess no one's playing him. I haven't really double checked because I just sort of assumed that, yeah, they're not. Bojan Bogdanovic.
Pukasevsky is starting as well.
Yes, yeah, I figured he would. So yeah, remember the Bogdanovic play. I kind of like that one. Monk, Van Vliet, Monk. The scattered games today are kind of throwing me off a little bit because they're all different. Like the time zones are not what you naturally think they would be. Like the 5:30 game being there and the 5 o'clock, then the 6 o'clock. Like usually it's like there's a little hour break between them.
Indiana, Milwaukee, we talked about.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a big.
Well, you fading any of that stuff? You also you.
No, I think they're getting too much leverage by just stacking the whole game together, and hoping that the information breaks your way.
Well, what are you doing about Connaughton?
He's fine. I don't love him. Got a little bit of him.
What are you doing about playing any Brook Lopez?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm editing my lineups here real quick. Connaughton being only small forward eligible is just annoying. Doesn't really make any sense either.
Do you want to move on?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I can't look at anything but my screen right now.
Oh, okay. I was just doing this for your benefit because you wanted to go the game by game.
Yeah. If you wanted to, I would answer some questions if I could. I just got
so Boston, Memphis. I've told you I like Joe Val as a low-owned tournament play, and I like both. I like both the main guys on Boston. The other one you could consider. This is like a wild play, but try playing Robert Williams like on FanDuel at 0% maybe.
Yeah, sure.
Not sold, huh?
No. I mean, I just don't really know what I'm getting. I mean, it's like it just doesn't really make sense to me on this slate because I think that some of these other guys get there. But yeah, he is. I mean, what's his price over there?
50 something.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, it doesn't. I get it. Like I get if somebody wants to keep riding the hotness and all that stuff, but I'm just not going to do it. So,
not a big deal.
But I think it is. I mean, it makes sense. It's not like it doesn't make sense or anything. It definitely makes sense.
Okay. 1, 2. Wait, where have I gotten this one? This. All right, very good. Brogdon, I still got to think about here. Okay. Then you have Utah, Chicago. Talk me off of just like a one-off of Zach LaVine.
No, I like it.
Shit. Okay.
I'll go a step further. I have in one of my big 777s. I'll just say this on FanDuel because it's FanDuel. I've got Zach LaVine and Donovan Mitchell.
Yep, that's what I was afraid of.
Yep. It's there's too much. People say, "Oh yeah, when Utah's healthy, you can't play all these guys." I'm like, "Are you sure about that?" Because
you sure?
Donovan Mitchell puts up like 50 plus, like anytime he just gets going. Like it doesn't really. I mean, yeah, it matters. His overall production would be better without these guys, but he just goes nuts.
What else do you like from this game? Anything?
Donovan. Which game?
The LaVine game.
Oh, I mean, look, the interesting. I just it's another reminder to just delay and wait because they're, what if Rudy Gobert is out? He's questionable. Like maybe Favors is another way you could go with your center spot. It's not that it'd be awesome, but he'll probably get 24, 26 minutes in that spot. Certainly makes sense as a cheap play. So nobody says that. I think that Conley is cheap enough on FanDuel at 6K where you can definitely play Conley. But I'm not trying to find a way to get Mike Conley in my lineups. I just think he's a little too cheap. And Bogdanovich can always get hot. Probably he's cheaper on FanDuel for a reason. Maybe you throw one or two double Bogdanovich lineups in tonight and just nobody has it.
Tell me more about this Marcus Morris play in the last game.
I'm loving Morris on FanDuel, and DraftKings is a little harder at 5K. What's weird is, and the thing is, he and Zubac could potentially eat into each other, but they could also both be on the court quite a bit because of the way that Atlanta plays double bigs. There are some rumors, even as of today, that John Collins and apparently the Celtics made him a huge offer. I don't know what it was exactly for Collins, and so that would change things or whatever. But yeah, I'm sorry, I sort of lost my train of thought because I started worrying about that a little bit. But Capella, they're going to have to match up. Capella with they're gonna have to match up Zubac with Capella at least, and then add Collins and Okongwu, who I believe is active tonight, right? Yeah, he is. Yeah, and you could have you could need 30 plus minutes of Zubac. I think Zubac is still a better play than Brown, by the way. But I do think that Brown it's close. I have him split on FanDuel, and on DraftKings I have more Zubac, but I have some Brown, and I have them together. Just lock up the center spot with it. And also Zubac does give you the flexibility if you're struggling to switch to Morris late if you need to get an unowned thing or something. By the way, it should be noted that 3 Holiday brothers will be playing next to each other. And in these spots in the past, Drew Holiday hasn't exactly lit the world on fire. I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm not saying he won't. It's a totally different situation, obviously.
Yeah. But
definitely find myself more siding with the Middleton side of it than Holiday, even though I love Holiday, but I just think Middleton's the easier kind of must-have guy.
Sexton's bonus. That looks pretty good. Oh my God, that'd be so sick.
I'll take a look real quick, guys. I'll try and answer 2 minutes of questions here. Because I got to get back to this. Oh, and then we have comments in. And by the way, so for that Atlanta game too, Clint Capella is an awesome play. No one's going to play him. Right?
He hasn't been doing anything.
Who, Capella?
Has Lou Williams been doing anything?
No. No, I mean, they're desperately trying to find – he's been terrible all year. They're desperately trying to find a way to get rid of him. I mean, not to get rid of him, to get something else, at point guard because they just don't have the right mix right now.
All right, that looks good.
Capella and – what's his name? Both of them at each other.
So I'm going to change. You like Maladon?
I made my case the other way, but I definitely think he's fine. I honestly don't think I have almost any of him, but he's fine. I like the other guard spots. I might have him 1 or 2 lineups, but kind of an interesting way to go over Graham. You know
what you could do, by the way. You can do if you want to get if you want to play those Milwaukee guys. And you don't want to be too chalky, you can run back on DraftKings with Karis LeVert.
I have Karis LeVert on 40% of my lineups right now.
there you have it.
I mean, yeah, it's what you do, right? Because you have to try to play for your edge, and I'm going to wait those half hour or whatever it is, and that's going to be part of my edge. You know what I mean? I can play LeVert if they're both gone. If Brogdon and Turner are out, and I can just skip if he doesn't. But I actually kind of like him not like him, I wouldn't be playing him probably. But I think that this is not he's at a reasonable price, especially on FanDuel.
Is there any 3,800 guys out there? Probably not, right? Oh, Okoro. Yeah, that was
Okoro. Yeah, he's the one I've used. I do have a stack or two of that game, by the way, just for fun.
You have any like wild no shot Nick Batum lineups?
Yep.
Nice.
And I think you described it well.
That's right.
It's an accurate description. I also have a ton of TJ McConnell lineups on both sites right now.
And do you plan to keep that if Brogdon plays?
No. On FanDuel, I might keep one if Brogdon plays, but Turner's out. And that's to me, that's the most likely scenario. Or they're both out is the next most likely. I think those are the two most likely options.
Okay.
And Bogdanovich is 3,800, by the way. I mean, I know he's a little different, but he's another 3,900.
That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah. Also, Cedi Osman is the other option. I don't like him as much, but I do have a little bit of him because he's one of those guys too. Like if they end up leaving him out there and he gets hot, he'll like just completely take over. And he's actually put up 26 in the last game in 24 minutes. It's a great matchup. Obviously, there's blowout potential both ways, which would get him a bunch of run. So Devontae Graham is officially starting. Count that ownership that Devontae Graham is going to have and just like double it.
Oh, you didn't think people were already counting on him starting?
They probably were projecting him to start, but he absolutely didn't have to start. And I think that the numbers probably are going to look even better now that he's confirmed. Just a guess.
Brook Lopez is intriguing to me for some reason.
It's all you, bud.
He's going to go into one.
Are we crazy for not playing more Capella? I really am starting to question myself. What am I thinking? It's a great matchup. You have the potential that John Collins is gone. The price, because he hasn't played the minutes and he went 4 for 60. I don't know how he only played 23 minutes in that game. Maybe, I guess it was a matchup thing. He can put up like 50 here and no one's going to play him. And he's also part of the last game, which helps. Capella, Biambo, Capella. And I do like Paul George and Kawhi still in that game, but I am leaning a little more Paul George. I like Paul George better on DraftKings and Kawhi better on FanDuel only because of the positions. Actually, FanDuel is I think Kawhi is going to be lower owned than Paul George will be. Okay. Anunoby's out. Let's not overreact to Anunoby being late news guy. I mean, I know we got that before, but it's not something that has to be earth shattering unless we make it that way, and we shouldn't.
It's pretty funny the way you put it. Do you like running right back with Keldon Johnson?
A little bit. I think it's kind of weird that no one's going to play him. So yeah, I think that's worth taking a shot on for sure.
I mean, just looking at guys to try to involve in the Charlotte game, you know.
The more I keep thinking about this now, they're different prices, obviously, but isn't Pokusevski like a significantly better play than Bobby Portis in some ways? Like they're talking about similar-ish upside. Pokusevski's more of a part of the offense. Both have hit and miss, but Portis has been. I think it's close. I really do. I think both could put up 18 for you, and both could put up 40 something, and one of them costs a lot less than the other one. Sorry, Portis out costs a lot less. Is going to be a lot more owned because of these cost a lot less. Excuse me.
Yeah. I'm gonna do some.
I really am going to lose. I don't know if this Pokusevski thing is going to work out one of these times, but I'm telling you, I really think that the ownership is going to be so low that when it does, you're just going to feel like the smartest guy alive.
Yeah.
And if you look at the number, that just the game logs, just the reputation he has, just the type of player he is, it's exactly the kind of guy you want in tournaments early in their career. But he also might put up like 7 fantasy points. He really might. But I'm going to get some of them in here. And also the problem with the Drew Holiday thing that I'm starting to have is like they're going to play. He's going to play specifically against his brothers too. They're going to guard him.
I'm sure that in the past that's happened a bunch of times.
It has. It didn't go well.
You sure?
He's a sweetheart and he's the best. So he doesn't like try to. He's not like going after them.
Why does he just pretend they're Damian Lillard and just?
He doesn't even go after those, but he does it defensively. He's just not the kind of guy. He doesn't really, and he's great. He just doesn't have even the offensive game where it's like, okay, well now it's my turn to take over. He just doesn't want to. Like it's just not what he does.
I don't know about that. I've seen him have those kind of games. No, back in New Orleans. All right, should be right.
Oh, yeah, sure. New Orleans, everybody would have, but never like not because he needed to. Like I don't remember when AD went out that he was. In fact, he really wasn't reliable in a lot of those games when AD went out. That's what I'm thinking of. That's what I'm remembering.
27. Let's do this.
Okay, guys, real quick questions. I'll take a seat. Looks like there's no more questions right now. Hello, people. Do you have questions? People have questions. You get paid to answer. No, by the way, no, we do not get paid to answer. So that's wrong. And this guy is.
You get paid to answer. I didn't get. Wait. I didn't get my.
All this guy has done. All this guy has done.
Wait. That's great news. I just haven't gotten my check yet for some reason.
Yeah, I know. Where's the check? So
I haven't seen it yet.
Here's a guy who literally. This is how you know it's
where's my check for the answering of the questions?
You know, someone's a troll when they write in stuff like that and they actually don't have. They didn't ever ask a question, and then they're going off on us. Like you know that, huh? Like this guy. All right, this whatever.
Hey, you like any Jalen Noel?
Do I like any Jalen Noel? It's no, only. I mean, kind of like. I guess sort of.
Can I ask you a dumb question?
Yes.
Is Kyle Lowry out? No, right? I was wondering why I'm all of a sudden getting Norman Powell. Okay.
Because what's his name is out. Because okay.
Oh, okay.
Which actually hurts including Van Vliet. It hurts Van Vliet. It hurts all of them because that means you have more scorers on the court.
Oh.
But it's not like it means they're unplayable. It's just they're definitely not as good at plays as they are when they're healthy. People always get that stuff and they just like, oh, this guy's out. We're gonna play this guy, and it always ends up going poorly. I feel like. All right. Somebody else. Some other news. Rockets are starting Wall, Brown, House, Tate, and Wood. Okay. Shit. Well, I do think John Wall is viable to get into some tournaments.
What do you think?
He's definitely going to play first. Man, what are they doing playing him on a bet? What is the matter with these guys? Like that's really risky.
Christian Wood?
No, I mean, I heard they were going to work on a buyout with Wall. I don't think I'm going to go for the Wall thing. I mean, look, I guess I'll throw him into one. It's just he's got a tremendous upside, but even Wood and Wall, I don't see the reason why. I get why Wall would want to play. I don't see why. Shit, I'm gonna have to get some of them, aren't I? Shit, really didn't want to play John Wall. But there is enough up 7,100. Like, yeah, I think I can just do that. I'm going to flip him for Sexton in some of my lineups. Also, it gives me more time in case anything else happens, I guess.
Shea. Fox.
I mean, both John Wall. So that does make Anthony Wall and what's his name Sexton versus Edwards is kind of interesting. But I think Edwards is probably like the better play because it's later. But I don't know. That's really close between all three of them. I was sort of thinking John Wall was going to be. I really thought it was going to happen.
The good thing, this Milwaukee game is not until 9 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good news.
Wall, Brown, Portis, Middleton, Towns, yes. Only Middleton from Milwaukee. Okay, take that shot. That's a risky one. DiVincenzo. Sexton, Wall, Edwards.
See any questions we have on here. Yes, you get paid by YouTube and Roto Grinders.
No, we don't. Neither of those are true.
You know, I forgot to show you. I got my check right here from Roto Grinders and from. Wait, where's the? Oh, here's the YouTube one. Right. Okay. So we got the YouTube one and the Roto Grinders one.
For those of you who aren't familiar, Chief is clearly joking.
I'm waiting to cash those until I get
For a guy who doesn't, you don't
the Awesemo one is coming next, so I'm waiting to get them all three of them before I cash them all together at the same time.
That'd be pretty cool, though. Hey, just have everybody pay us. Why not?
Larry Nance on FanDuel. Any love from K9 Bronco?
Yes, a little bit. I actually think he's an interesting play.
You think Forbes will get some extra run? I don't know why he would get extra run.
Yeah, he would. Well, yeah, with Giannis out, but I don't know. I don't know that you want to prioritize. Like he would be the other guy at 3,800. I don't love it though, just to be honest. But it's not the worst.
I run pure. Yeah, I forgot. I get the run pure check also. I get them all. I get all the checks.
How do you get the run pure ones even? Damn, Cheat, you've been holding out on me.
I get all of the. I forgot to. What's it? Will just basically flushed me out. I've been holding back all these checks from you. It was made out. The problem is, it's made out.
He literally thinks right now that you told him that what you said is true.
It is true. I'm staring at my check right here.
He's lying, guys.
This one is signed. This one is actually signed Big T. It says.
I'm literally tuning you out for a minute because I have to take care of this thing.
It says Big T right over here. Paid to the order of Sheets Pones Incorporated.
Edwards. Wall.
So this is what we got to do. So is it tomorrow?
I actually have one Forbes lineup, by the way.
I really want to give away, but I don't want to give anything away in this life. I want someone to win a coaching session. So I have to figure out some fair way to do that. I tried with the golf thing. I'm going to do that. I'm going to run that again as well. But maybe we'll do something like with one of Bobby's like NBA. So like you'll have to watch the 12 o'clock show or whatever. And then Bobby, you'll hopefully by 6:30 have like who you consider your play of the day or something. Mm-hmm. Maybe have people guess it in the Discord.
Yeah, let's do that. That's a good idea.
So what we'll do is I'll work on that. So I'll put a YouTube video out overnight. and then we'll talk about it at 12 o'clock, and then that'll be the deal. Like at 6:30, when we come think, you'll come out here and say, okay, this is going to be my top play, because you're not going to lie about it. And obviously it's going to change. If it changes, it changes. But we're going to do results as of 6:30. That's going to be it. So like if the whole slate changes after you give the winner out, it doesn't matter. Like the winner is the winner.
Right. Okay. That's right.
Very good.
It makes sense to me. All right.
So Chris, you really just getting to the bottom of it. Honestly, I don't know the answer. And it's the same question on DraftKings as well. Moses Brown.
What's the question?
He's asking Moses Brown or Zubac on FanDuel GPP. I don't know the answer.
I think that the answer is better. The better play is Zubac, personally, but I think that they're really close, and I'm playing both of them.
Will, listen, it's not fair. Okay, you can't say that Bobby's a liar, because as I told you, I was withholding the checks from him. He didn't know that I had them here. He wasn't lying. He literally didn't think that we got checks from anybody, because the check was to me. So don't call Bobby a liar about this. He's not lying. He just didn't know.
He really thinks you're what? Can you please stop villainizing me on our program, please? For once, yes, you always make me into the villain. Now he's
villainizing you. I'm saying you're not a liar.
He genuinely believes that you're making that I'm lying to him. He really believes.
I'm telling you, you're not lying. I'm not villainizing you. I'm saving you from the villainy.
All right. I got a couple more lineups to edit. House. So
JJ, you're scaring me that you could look up people's IPs addresses. That's what's.
Oh, they'll do it. Somebody look it up and find out it's not true. Who's that?
He said that it was DFS God, the same guy.
Oh, I believe that. I totally believe it. This is how you know that somebody's. I know it's okay. I already reported him anyway. Sorry, Sheets. I'm not going to let somebody come in. If people are going to ask questions or criticize, that's fine. But you better not just be in here to start off by criticizing something for what we were actually doing at the time, which was answering questions. And everybody who knows, we know we have to build our lineups at the end. So sometimes the questions don't get answered right away. But that wasn't even. He didn't even ask a question. It's strict trolling.
Oh, here comes the door. The seven. It's you know how they have like live until lock? Like at Sheets' house, it's like live till unlock. So like when the door unlocks to my office and swings open, that's Mrs. C. That's Mrs. C. It's reverse lock.
Okay.
It's unlocked. She says some
people get out of here and enjoy your dinner, and we'll you guys. I'll be in Discord because I'm gonna have to keep up to date with what's gonna happen over this next period with Indiana and whatnot. So.
All right. Good luck, guys, and hope the slate doesn't fall apart during dinner.
Yeah. Good luck to everybody.